I'm Neal Padgett. I'm president of the Garner Chamber of Commerce. We are an organization of businesses who just unite, and the organization speaks on behalf of those businesses to make the economy better in Garner. Pretty dramatic start to when I realized the problem. It was 5 years prior to the surgery. I literally got out of bed one day, fell, couldn't get up, and wasn't sure what was going on because I hadn't had I didn't know that was coming. I avoided surgery in the beginning, though, through physical therapy, so after probably 4 years, I was doing quite well with the physical therapy. But during the last 6 months, probably got to the place that even though I was real diligent about the physical therapy, the symptoms were coming back and it was getting harder to get around, so I knew it was time to go back and do another MRI and see what was going on, see what had changed. When I got there, had the MRIs done again, the look on the doctor's face told me that it was drastically different than the MRIs. It had been 5 years ago, and he wanted to immediately schedule surgery. He said that everything from two of the discs had just about completely gone away over the years. There was a shift in my spine. One vertebra was in front of the other, and it was stenosis where it was closing up on the nerves in the spine. So he wanted to immediately do surgery. The pain level varied a lot from hour to hour during the day. The first part of the day, it was so excruciating I couldn't stand up. I was even getting to the point that I knew that people live with disabilities, and I was determined that whatever happened, I was going to be productive and be happy that way. So I was already beginning to visualize, how would I do this if I couldn't walk? How would I do this if I were in a wheelchair? And I would look through, how would I get through that door? Because I was determined I was going to keep doing the same things that I'd always done, even if there was a disability. First came here for a second opinion on a surgery that had been recommended. But because of the interaction here, the extreme optimism, and the cases of success that I was hearing, I decided that I'd like to do the surgery here versus just have the second opinion here. So from the initial meeting, I felt more optimistic going into it with the personnel here. The decision to have the surgery was very easy for me. I knew I had to do it and had to do it immediately. Then at the last minute, there was a glitch with insurance. Literally to the point of on the day of the surgery, we still didn't have everything fully approved. I could not believe the hours worked by the staff here to ensure that the surgery went on schedule. And so from that moment on, I was totally impressed by their drive and enthusiasm for getting this job done, getting it done as quickly and easily for me as they could. And then once we actually got everything approved, had the surgery, not only were they just very accommodating to me, also to my wife. So she was determined she was not going to leave until I left. They did everything they could to make her comfortable. Even during the surgery, it was pretty much an all-afternoon surgery. They would come periodically, give her updates. Here's what's just happened. Here's how he's doing with this. So it was incredible experience we had with the staff here. The doctor here told me, I think you have settled for a lifestyle you don't have to settle for. People come through the kind of surgery that you have and live a very active life afterwards. It was difficult, especially the first couple of weeks, because really I was not real. I could walk fine, but I could only do what was right there at arm's length from me. So thank goodness I had gotten some good coaching coming into this, so we had rearranged things so everything I would need would be on top of the counter. So those first few weeks afterwards, I didn't have to move a whole lot. Everything was at arm's length, and I didn't have to reach for those things. And to be honest with you, the pain level was extreme. It was intense. It was hard to move, but it was probably not as bad as I feared it would be going into it. Simple things were hard. Getting in and out of bed, oh my gosh, what a challenge it was to get from sitting on the bed to lying down. It was a challenge to do those things in the first few weeks. It has been 14 months since I had the surgery, so back to 12 months, I graduated, I guess. The doctor told me that he wouldn't do any more appointments unless I needed to see him. So I've officially been released. I do some things I didn't do before the surgery because I was limited a good bit before the surgery. Well, during my physical therapy process, I decided I've done so well, I've got a second chance to live a very active life. So I started going to a gym, and I'm in a gym 6 days a week now. I'm doing 12 to 16 miles a week on the elliptical machine. I'm doing the weight machine. So I'm doing things I didn't do before I had the surgery. I think part of what helped me was I was determined going into it that I was going to absolutely be the best I could be. I could get the most out of this. I could make the most of it. Also, I remember the point when The doctor said, you've settled for a lifestyle you didn't need to settle for. I have patients who are walking. I've got patients who are running now. And I remember I went to answer him, and I almost got choked up for a minute because that was something I didn't expect to hear. I thought life as I knew it was over, and I needed to start adjusting to not having the same lifestyle I had. So I remember the emotion of thinking, okay, it's not, life as I know it is not over. There's things I can do again. So that, when I had a successful surgery, made me determined to make the most of it. So I went to physical therapy. I started going to the gym. I did everything I could do. I think I even surprised the doctors at the 6th week when they said walk 3 times a day. Well, I tend to take things to an extreme. I was walking a mile or 2, 3 times a day. I think they weren't expecting that much. Oh gosh, I'm so glad I did it. I'm glad I did it as quickly as I did, because it gives me a head start on a life I thought I didn't have ahead of me. I'm doing things I never dreamed I would do.